So if you say, I'm so stressed, I can't make payroll, everyone's going to hate me at work, what type of response are you supposed to give somebody back from that? They won't hate you, even though they need to be paid.
Right.
But if you say the same thing and you go, the stress of running a business and having such a responsibility for everyone who works under me is just like crippling me. I wish I knew how to show them that this is a pattern and we will hit this low to get more to this high. Like if they'll just come with me, somebody else might respond and be like, I was there 2 years ago. I brought my entire team in. Would you like to hear what I did? And so it's a lot of this is getting out of that me mentality. What happened to me? That's what, my comment before triggered for you to ask this. And to understand that if you want to build a relationship that helps you in the future, capitalistically, strategically, access, you have to have the other person feel heard. And you have to have shared back and forth something that gives you this idea that now you're in the same narrative and journey. It's not here's my movie of my life and here's yours and we're in each other's backgrounds. It's how does it come together, even for a brief moment in time, for you to share a narrative and elevate each other? Even if you were college roommates and you don't talk for 20 years, you can still have built the bond through that. You could have had somebody invest in you and lost their money, but 5 years later, they'll say to you, that loss was the most important thing ever because now I learned the questions we should have asked together. You don't know what these people think unless you re-engage. So my answer, obviously probably way too long, this is my habit from my father, is this idea that like, so what if you're vulnerable? If you were curious first and then you share vulnerability in response to the curiosity that brought out something from the other person, or to bring it out because they are too blocked, but by you sharing it, you build a bond. We spend all our time going to events, going to conferences, taking meetings to build a bond, looking for the transaction. The deepest relationships that are funding my startup that helped me write my book are from people where I talked about the challenges of being a young parent, the challenges of running a charity where we're getting sued in the middle of it because of bankruptcy law. This idea of in my 20s having two panic attacks and how debilitating it was to think everything I built went away, or now dealing with, a moderately healthy 87-year-old father who's being taken care of by my mom, but I lived every day in fear of what's going to happen next. Like, do you want to talk about that with me? And I don't mean you because we're already in the middle
Yeah.
of it.
Yep.
Or like, do you want to be like, well, what was it like to work with Ray Dalio? And the few times you met Steven Spielberg because he donates to the charity that you chair, like, what was he like? Like, it's like, how's the weather? And if the answer is it's cold, you're not going to say something back. If somebody asks, how's the weather? And you go, I grew up without seasons in Florida. Our seasons were blackberry season, blueberry season, orange season. We never had apples, but we had peaches, like sweet Georgia peaches. And somebody else goes, I've been in the Northeast so long, but winter's just getting to me now ever since I hurt my knee. And suddenly, what was the first question? You're in a flow where all that can happen. That's a strong position to be in.